name is Claudia Poernig, and I'm a partner in Baker McKenzie's Transactional Practice Group in New York. I'm here today to provide some insight to consider when changing directors or officers. As a first point, you should be aware that not all countries have a corporate body called a board of directors as well as officers. So before changing directors, you should familiarize yourself with the system of representation in the particular country and the different options of representation that might be available to you. To that extent, we always recommend reviewing the bylaws or articles of association of the entity in question. Any entity-specific requirements or restrictions regarding the authority to represent the company should be found there. Before deciding on a replacement, you should also be fully informed about the statutory authorities of a director in the jurisdiction in question. While some countries resemble the US system with a corporate body called the Board of Directors that will collectively decide about strategic matters of the company, in other countries, the individual directors might have a much broader power and can take strategic as well as day-to-day management decisions all by themselves, subject to certain matters that might need shareholder approval. Understanding all of the above will guide you to find the right person for the job. When looking for the right replacement, common approaches multinational companies are taking are usually either a central approach or a mix of central and local approach. When considering a central approach to director appointments, companies are looking to staff the positions with headquarter personnel to ensure a level of central oversight over the local subsidiary, as well as synergies when it comes to information sharing. Before taking this approach, you should review local laws to check if it might be mandatory to appoint a local resident director or comply with other local requirements. Another common approach is to have a mix of centrally and locally appointed directors. This approach might be needed to meet legal local, for example, residency or regulatory or tax substance requirements. An advantage of this approach is that you introduce local market and entity knowledge into your decision-making process, as well as having someone readily available in country to execute, for example, legal documents, meet with regulators, banks, or other institutions. In appointing a central director in addition to your local director, you also ensure the reporting to headquarters and a level of oversight to the local subsidiary. When deciding about the right approach for your subsidiary, companies also consider if the subsidiary is a holding and financing company or an operating company. The central staffing approach, subject to local requirements and tax input, might be the right approach for a holding or financing company. However, this might not work for an operating company where local market and business knowledge are key to the decision-making process. Once you have found your new director, considering the guidance that we provided, you will need to implement the change. As to the appointment of the new director, you might be used to the easy and quick process here in the US. However, in other countries, it can take months to implement such appointment, which you have to keep in mind when establishing your timeline. You see from all of this that director changes on a multi-jurisdictional level should be carefully planned and orchestrated. Time invested in the planning phase will definitely pay off with a faster and more efficient implementation phase.